And we got shows in it, keep the money pile. On the east side, oh, the shit is getting wild. Thinking about my baby doll, she way too mad at y'all. Think you should roll with me, got me feeling so dizzy.
I don't think the power steering works.
So different, finally working out. I'm on the switch side, seeing how I'm feeling now. On my way to cars and clothes, traveling on the road. I'm getting close anyway, you see my growth in it.
For those of you that have been around for a couple of years, you would know that the FRS was my first drift car and my pride and joy. However, for the last 2 or so years, it's been severely neglected just because of all of the paint work it needed. A year and a half ago, we had the interior painted a nice Nardo gray, and not too long after that, the whole car was primered and prepped for its new color. However, since the car was placed on the back burner, it really hasn't been touched. And then with moving into my new home and getting the garage all set up for all the work we have planned to do in it, it's definitely been neglected. But have no fear, I have dug deep and have found some newfound motivation to get this car back up and running and out on the track again. And that ultimately starts with cleaning the damn thing. So here we have quite the assortment of parts that will eventually need to be put on the FRS. Since it's been down for so long, I've just accumulated some things that ultimately need to make their way on it, but obviously weren't such a priority to be installed. Starting with some body panel clips for the rear bumper. This just helps attach it. Since the car lived its life as a drift car for the first 4 years of ownership, I did what any drifter did and removed all unnecessary plastic. And since we're going for a much better version of what I've always wanted to have in an FRS, we're putting some of the OEM plastics back in. I have a set of OEM front lower control arms. And before you guys start thinking that I'm gonna take the PBM angle kit off, a buddy of mine that I lent my stock arms to lost them, so he owed me a set. And I've been fumbling with the idea of removing the angle kit so that I can get a really nice set of like 3-piece wheels for the front. You know, really wide boys. Wide boys. But I'd be a fool to think that I would not want to drift this thing once it's all done. And in this box here, we have the Facebook Marketplace Scoop of the Year, a set of 2017 plus OEM taillights that I got for 120 bucks. These go all day for roughly $300 to $400, but luckily I found someone selling them that had just plucked them off of their brand new BRZ, and they wanted them out of the garage and wanted 120 bucks. Definitely got lucky on these. But the most important part that I have are these 5x114 hubs for the car. We already converted it to 5x114 in the rear. So to get this stupid 5x100 bolt pattern out of here, these hubs from PBM will do the trick. It's not a 100% plug and play affair. To use the OEM brakes, you have to do some modifications, which we will cover in a future video. But since I had all this stuff just sitting around, I might as well show it to you and give you a hint at what's to come. I did finish cleaning the FRS interior and exterior last night, And I'm telling you, I have struggled ever since then to tell myself not to pluck this FA20 out of the car so we can paint the engine bay. Baby steps, Alan, baby steps. I definitely have that personality that I'll take 3 steps forward, but then 18 steps backwards. So we'll probably hold off with getting the engine bay painted. But after a quick visual inspection of the condition of the primer, I've definitely located some spots that I'm gonna wanna go over at least one more time as far as smoothing out some dents, maybe just getting some filler in some spots from hail or acorn damage, I don't know. But it's definitely nice to see this thing all clean and proper. I hate how much I've neglected this thing, but I'm sure you guys can understand why some things get placed on the back burner. You know, ever since I got the S13, this car just kind of sat quietly in the background since that thing was LS swapped. And then when I got the 350Z, which we set up as a daily drifter, I definitely didn't need to drift this thing. I mean, it was hard enough keeping up with the VQ boys when we were making roughly 350 wheel. And if I were to be tandeming with anyone with a V8, I definitely struggled. And before you guys get any wild ideas that I'm gonna be swapping the engine in this thing, that's not in the plan as of now. I wanna keep it simple, and if one day it makes sense to spend the thousands of dollars to swap the engine, then sure. But for now, I think we will focus on just growing the channel and getting it to a point where we can further justify spending the thousands of dollars to make this thing make some power. I mean, how hilarious would it be that once we get the car all painted and sorted out, that we take it out for a spin and pop the FA20. I'm not trying to jinx myself, but I'm calling it now. I don't know a soul that stayed boosted and not ran into issues. But see, here I am already talking myself into potentially taking the engine out, selling it, and then using that money towards a swap. No, I need to get that out of my mind. So I apologize that this is a pretty short video. I definitely have my work cut out for me as far as getting this thing prepped for paint. I know you guys have been asking a lot about the S13 and what happened to it. Be patient with me because in due time we will talk about it. But as of now, I am really trying to focus all of my efforts on the FRS and drifting as much as I can. I'm doing a Clutch Kickers fun day in the 350Z this Saturday, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that drift footage. But then as soon as we get back, we are gonna be in full prep mode on really just getting the FRS done. I keep saying that and stressing it. It's just I bit off a bite that was much more bigger than I could chew with this thing. But luckily I have some resources at my availability to come and lend me a hand with it. So that alleviates a lot of my stress. But at the same time, we still gotta figure out the paint booth situation. I never talked about it, but I made a makeshift booth in my parents' garage before I moved so I could finish painting the 350Z. The whole idea was that was supposed to be my practice for then eventually painting the FRS. So I'll throw some pictures up right now of what that looked like. I had 3 intake fans, 3 exhaust fans, but with this whole shop, I think we can do something similar. Just gotta get the plastic dropped down and get some good airflow and mitigate against the dust. I'm telling you, this shop gets pretty dusty sometimes. But enough of me talking. I love you guys. Thank you for all your love and support. And please, pray for me. I'm gonna need it.